the stage.
This is it, guys.
This is what you guys have been waiting for. Thank you for sticking with us. We hope you enjoyed that little prelude, that little giveaway, that little for funsies entertainment up at the front.
Wow, you can hear the cheering for Jig right now. It looks like, you know, Jig is the one that wanted to win Team Killing Spree. Great representation here in Montreal.
I'm going to take a picture of the venue while Songers talks.
We do have Hendralisk up on the stage here, and we do have some supporters for him as well, namely Tony Tran over here in the corner, cheering for Hendralisk, wanting Hendralisk to win. And this is going to be it, guys. Best of 7 with Hendralisk starting up 2 points.
So interestingly, Hendralisk, yeah, he was the person who put Jig into the losers bracket. He's already beaten him. I believe it was 2-0 in that tournament as well. So Henry knows he's got that psychological advantage at the very least, but at the most he knows that he's been practicing. He's been practicing a very long time for this. He has his eyes on the prize, but Jig will be no small task to beat. He is definitely an opponent that cannot be taken lightly.
For sure. Run TNZ is Hendralisk. That is right, Lewis 7-1-1-1.
We were not listening to any of this for the longest time, guys. Thank you so much, Maximus Prime, for informing our other guests of exactly what been happening in this tournament. For those of you who
that's a good power supply.
I've joined a little bit late. We are at the Lan ETS. It is the LAN in Toronto, downtown Toronto.
Oh
is
man,
1,000+ players.
Off.
The lights have been dimmed. The atmosphere is palpable. The esports is on full throttle. Ladies and gentlemen, we are but moments away from the very finals.
That was some, you know, scary white noise over there. Jig is also Grandmaster. This is Grandmaster versus Grandmaster. Highest level of play here in Montreal.
These will be 2 of the top Zergs you can ask for in North America. There are plenty in the farther reaches, but this is definitely more of an Eastern contingent. Sorry about the blurriness, guys. I'm hoping it'll fix itself, but if it doesn't,
it's not going to do this, because there's no light on our faces, therefore it can't focus on our faces.
Yeah, but leave it now. Oh, all right, don't touch anything. So, it sounds like they're putting up a little bit of music, might be doing some final checks, make sure that everything goes by smoothly, and now the power's out again. We'll wait for the players to invite us into the channel. Songers, what do you expect? Henry only has to win 2. Jig has to win 4. He can only drop 1 by accident. It's going to be a monumental task to do so, but we've seen this in the past. If you recall our Untouchables tournament that we casted in Toronto, we had a finals between JVK, the gentleman who won the power supply here, who we talked to just a moment ago, and DDE, a top Terran player in North America and Canada.
He's actually switched over to Dota.
Yeah, but still a formidable Terran opponent. But at the time, full Starcraft. Right now, DDE had won. He had put JVK into the losers bracket. JVK had won the first best of 3. I don't know if it was 2-1 or if it was 2-0, and we were like, oh my gosh, now it's just a best of 3 to determine it all. So anything could happen. These players are going to fight to their last breath. They are going to be playing for all the marbles. The winner of this gets $1,600. That is a payday as any gamer. This is what you need. And if you don't know who either of these players are, you need to. You absolutely need to. Look up Hendralisk, look up Ks.Jig. Jig goes by Jigsaw as well. Hendralisk has many different pseudonyms, but Hendralisk is his name. Henry Zhang. I don't know Jig's name, actually. Do you know his real name?
I don't, actually.
All right. Anyways.
Really known as Jig, but
Jigsaw, Jig, he is part of Team Killing Spree.
That's right.
A very awesome Canadian, primarily Canadian team. It is based mostly in Montreal, Quebec area. If you're in the area and you want to figure out more about this team, look up their website, buy their shirts, support their team. Hendralisk is flying under the banner of Monomaniacs. Look up their team as well, buy a shirt, support these players, support their teams. They do so much for esports, and this is the whole thing. These are the players that we come see. This is the top 1%.
This is it, man. And yes, for guys in chat, they are both Canadian players. This is a purely Canadian tournament.
They're not talking to us, don't worry.
Oh, I thought they were looking at us saying, what's going on, guys? Please invite me to your game, Henry. I want to be in your game.
They're not in either, don't worry.
And it looks
nobody's
like,
in.
I
think the players
the
are just doing
final
some final
jitters,
checks.
you know?
It is also very dark on stage. I wonder if the players mind that. I mean, most people have a lit up keyboard.
Well, you don't.
Some players do play in the dark, but it's at any rate, if they're like, I want light, I mean, there's all sorts of things. Remember NASL, how we were like paused for so long when it was MC and Puma in the booth? And they were just like, no. I can hear everything. I will not play until I can't hear. So they had to fix their sound settings. Everyone was waiting for it felt like an hour. It must have only been like 5 minutes, but we were just waiting like, what? Why aren't they going? Why aren't they playing? They were literally paused at the start of the game, and they were just waiting. They're like, no, this is not acceptable. I'm not going to lose to something stupid like I can hear the opponent's build.
Exactly.
So
you really want to be ready. You want to be in the zone. This is a competition. You don't play basketball without your shoes. You don't play StarCraft without your setting.
I'm going to find some people who play basketball without shoes, though.
You don't play basketball without the proper equipment.
You don't play basketball without a basketball.
Do you play basketball with your camera? No.
All right, that's a fair point. I'll accept that.
Exactly.
So it sounds like they're just ready to get things underway. They're just doing some final cross-checking, some final announcements, some final speaking to the audience. It is pitch black in here, but you can just see nothing but heads and excitement and the passion of esports all over the place. Everybody really
on the stream, you know,
really wants to get
tell
this
your
going.
friends. Tell your friends this is the final. This is going to be the final StarCraft match at Lan ETS. Huge tournament in Canada. Tell all your friends. Tell your grandma. Tell your mom. I told my mom. She's probably not watching right now.
And Noobthought, I'll have you know, Henry and Scarlett are good friends for a long time, if not currently. They practice their builds a lot together. There was a time when they were doing builds and producing builds against opponents that were literally carbon copies of each other. So I know that those two players do confer quite a bit, which means Scarlett being the #1 player in North America and being such an international strength, it can only bode well for Henry.
Exactly.
Oh,
sorry.
Good. You yawned on stream. That's awesome.
Man, that was
look,
bad.
Viewer count just dropped.
Yep, I just lost a viewer from my yawn. I bet all the viewers are yawning right now because yawning is contagious.
That's true. So, ladies and gentlemen, yes, please go tweet. This is the finals for Lan ETS.
Should I do
and
this
is
or
one
not?
of the qualifiers for a bigger tournament, for an international tournament held through the Esports Canada Alliance. If you don't know what that is, Esports Canada is holding a national tournament. What we've done is we've taken most of the premier lands across Canada, and we take the top 3 regional players to compete then to produce only one player that will then compete nationally, and then the winner of that will be sent to Korea to play at IESF. It is an awesome opportunity for Canadian players, and really these Canadian players have really been looking forward to this,
because
and really want to have a chance to go to Korea and to go show what Canada has, show that Canada is an esports nation on the rise, that we are not sitting in the shadows anymore. We have produced some of the best players in the world. Hux, Scarlett, here you see Hendralisk and Jig. Any player you can think of, these players deserve your admiration and respect internationally. Combat X took a game off partying. We are here to stay. Please show the world your esports passion.
Next
I know
Esports Central.
And we have plenty of support around the world. We have people from England and Austria and anywhere you can imagine from all corners. So we love all of your nations. Right now this is a Canadian event, so we're just showing some love for the Canadian players who have been regaling us with beautiful tales of StarCraft.
Yeah, and it looks like the map vetoes have been selected over here. Hendrix is going to veto Alkeon Flat. No, how do we pronounce it?
Aquilon Flats.
Aquilon Flats and Tomb Valley, while Jig is going to veto Cloud Kingdom and Daybreak.
So Aquilon Flats, one of the new maps introduced through the HOTS beta, and a relatively new map. I wonder, an interesting choice. I mean, choosing a map to veto with a mirror match simply it's probably just at the point where this is a map that I don't personally do that well on. This is a map where I don't have a special build that I've practiced and I know very well. So these players are probably just picking, these are the kind of maps that'll remain because I like these maps. I typically do well on these maps. I feel comfortable with these maps. So let's do it.
I mean, like personally on Shakir's Plateau, I have a 78% win rate. So there's something about that map.
So you would definitely not veto it.
I would not veto that
map. If your opponent vetoed it, you'd be crying.
I would veto Daybreak.
And would these opponents have looked up their would these players have looked up their opponents well enough to know those statistics? Say, Henry does really well on this map. I'm not going to let him play on that map. I guess we'll have to see what turns out. Both of these players, I'm sure, have many spoofs. We are now in the game lobby. You can see it right there before you. Both our players are Grandmaster, highest of the high, top 1% in the world, or at least in North America. These players, you can tell by the new Blizzard cool system where the avatars have a border around them. Songers, you can tell, is unranked. Kadium on the French stream is no slouch himself. If you guys do prefer the French stream, make sure you do hop over to that. We do have French and English casting available for you. Kadium and his co-caster are doing a wonderful job. Everyone here is doing an amazing job trying to give you some esports action.
Yep, and it looks like right now players are just setting up the sound a bit. We are playing in an auditorium. Unfortunately, there isn't a soundproof booth for the players.
They're apparently really hard to make, and once you've made them, where do you store them? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a huge logistical nightmare that surrounds those. So it really makes you appreciate some of the things that some of the bigger tournaments have to go through.
Yep, and so I'm wondering, even if Hendralisk can hear the announcers, he can't understand them.
No.
Jig, on the other hand, might.
Jig might be able to, but they've assured us that because of the earbuds and because of the headsets, there is no advantage afforded to either. I personally can hear them, but we don't have earbuds. So hopefully there is no advantage there. Hopefully this will be a nice, clean match, as clean as Zerg versus Zerg can possibly be.
Here we
go.
go.
It's a dirty matchup. We know acid will be shed. We know
Claws
Zerg
will
blood
bite.
will be shed as well.
And 2, 1. And here comes the loading screen on Antigua Shipyard. Hendralisk versus Jig, the grand finals of Lan ETS.
The Grandmasters of Zerg. Oh, and a little mistake on the split, but no matter. The map is Antigua Shipyards. In the bottom left-hand corner, we have the light blue Zerg, Monomaniacs Hendralisk.
And his opponent spawning on the right-hand side. It is going to be the blue Zerg from Montreal, Quebec on Team Killing Spree. Killing Spree's Jig.
Zerg versus Zerg, a matchup that we see so often, but none like this one, I am sure. These players will regale us with incredible stories in StarCraft. We'll be able to tell these to our children, perhaps. This game proves to be epic, I am sure. So far the builds are exactly the same. Nothing to say anything different. But will Jig pull out any of that crazy fast action, getting the 9 pull down, getting the early aggression, or will Henry go for more of that gas and getting the metabolic boost quickly? What will these players do? They've thrown a whole bunch of cards throughout this tournament. What will they choose?
As you were just talking about, have we about that really early aggression? We've actually passed that threshold already. Don't touch my soul. I have no soul. These players, some clever banner going on. How do you defeat a person without a soul? I do not even know. We do know that
a sliding door in front of them. They don't open for people without souls.
We do know that both these players are capable of some aggressive play. We can see right here. Spawning pulls similarly times for both players here. Jig's just a little bit more ahead. And, Jig in the games against Sierra Box, so aggressive. That play was intense. Hendralisk, though, in his plays against other races, against Protoss especially, we saw him take out Believe. We found take out. Did he play against Desro as well?
I don't remember. Who are you talking about?
Hendralisk.
Hendralisk did play against Desro. He's the one who put Desro into the losers bracket.
Right, and you can see that aggressive play. The drops on the third base is just
Yep, and then JVK mimicking that. So a lot of Zergs talk. A lot of Zergs let each other know. These builds are almost identical. These players have tremendous respect for one another. Not doing anything cheesy, not doing anything crazy. Looking like they want to go into at least 2-base play, a little bit more macro-oriented. We probably will see Zerg baneling for quite a while, transitioning into Roach. But even before that, I do want to mention in Jig's style, when he does play in this format, I find he definitely favors putting at least one drone into a spine crawler right at the front of his natural. He likes to get that static defense, typically from what I've seen from him so far. And although the builds are very identical, you can see the production menus are virtual carbon copies of each other. That will be something that Hendralisk might be mindful of. That means one less drone on the map. It means one less amount of minerals being spent on army or economy. Will those minor differences accumulate in a victory, or will it accumulate in defeat?
For sure. I mean, the one drone, you might not think it's a lot, but really in ZVZ, Zerg drones are so important. I mean, with your larva, you can only make one thing at a time, right? You can't make more than one at a time, and that's the problem there, because you need to decide what you want to make, attacking units, or do you want to make the drones that mine. Now you can see the Overlord spreading around, giving Hendralisk great vision across the map. Same thing with Killing Spree's Jig as well. First Queen now out. 4 players now moving down to the natural expansion. Going to be injecting some of her larva into that hatchery and just upping up the Zerg production.
Thank you for covering for me, Songers. It sounds like a few people in chat are asking us to speak with the French casters. It sounds like the Twitch is a little off, so I have asked somebody to go speak with one of the coordinators to go ask the French casters to make sure everything's okay. So hopefully that'll get fixed for you guys very shortly. I'm sorry about the issue, but I hope you still enjoy the game. I hope you're able to appreciate it. So yeah, they're looking into it right now. In the meantime, what has happened here, Songers? A metabolic boost coming out for Jig, and a Baneling Nest very quickly coming out for Jig as well. Purely defensive or offensive? What are you wagering?
Just looking at the style of Jig's play that he's been doing in previously, I think it's going to be an offensive play. We can see that Overlord of Jig being chased away by the Queen of Hendralisk here, and there are a lot of queens out for Hendralisk. I've seen him. He likes this play. He likes having more queens to defend. They're able to block the ramp early if you don't have some Evo Chambers up or whatnot. And we see the first spine crawler coming out for Hendralisk.
So Hendralisk, the one who blinks first, does put up the Spine Crawler. Not sure if he was able to scout anything. No, he has no idea about most of the production in the base of
He wants
Jig.
to know the gas timing,
very little, but yeah, he does want to know the gas time, but I'm not sure if he's even aware of the Banelings. And look, a bunch of lings are being produced by Jig. It means these are going to be producing the Baneling variety very shortly. Even if he does see the lings move across, will he be ready to deal with this many lings?
Oh my goodness, and you know, we were right about that production.
Are in time. If the roaches are in time, these Banelings might be mitigated.
But here comes the vision, and here comes Hendralisk. He's going to see these lings moving out from the map right now. Speed just finished. Look how fast those earlings goes. And here they go, streaming down the middle of the map. What is Hendralisk's response? He's waiting for that roach word to finish, but will it finish? Queens are in position already. He's setting them up. There's a nice little wall off going here. Another 2 more spine crawls coming up. One in the natural, and one in the... No, where's the other one? I don't know, but here comes the... Oh my goodness, they run right through into the drone line. Here come the Banelings as well.
Hendralisk is trying to hold this with as little as he possibly can. Only 2 drones lose their life to that Baneling, and more Banelings come in. They're going to explode. Oh! Somehow only 1 drone dies. I'm not sure. Many lings remain. These drones are being brought right back into the mineral line. Still so many lings in the mineral line. He's trying to put all of his drones into one patch so that they attack all at once. A couple roaches are out for Hendralisk. They are able to attack these lings. Hendralisk didn't know where to go, but it looks like he's weathered the storm. 14 workers lost, though. That was pretty strong play by Jig.
Excellent play by Jig. So aggressive, doing so much damage. Hendralisk is
and they're coming
back.
It looks like they want more.
I mean, the roaches are going to be able to defend, but these lings are so fast, they could just run by. Nice spine crawler placement of the lings. Nothing is going to be getting through this awesome wall here, although that little gap might be a little bit of a misstep there.
That's why Hendralisk did try to put his roaches up the top, but wanted to block that hole, and then he saw the lings go south. It's extremely difficult, but positioning is very important. 3 spine crawlers going up. It looks like Jig is now transitioning and wants to fortify, wants to make sure he has enough defense at his base. Doesn't want to lose any drones himself. He knows he's a little bit ahead, not only in supply, but in his economy advantage. He wants to keep this advantage into another stage of the game.
We can see Jig going for that lair check now. Hendralisk's lair is already done. He's already started on his infestation, but getting +1 weapons for these roaches. Just going to be ahead in the roach game right now. However, the double evos from Jig, he's going to be able to catch up quite quickly. Speed starter for Hendralisk right now, and you know, the offensive is going to be coming on Hendralisk very soon. Once that infestation pit is up, once he has the roach numbers, he's going to get some revenge.
These slow roaches will be faster once the speed does finish. They are moving out, haven't been seen except by the front ramp of their opponent, but now with this little dance, he's unsure of when they will reach. No, they do come back under sight. A couple lings are moving around just to try to find anything around the map, perhaps anything secret, anything that shouldn't be out there. They are going to be able to catch these roaches off guard. No, just run right past, look for the timing of the third, but obviously the observer there would already know that.
Yeah, Hendralisk moving his spine crawls up to the front now. Doesn't really need to defend the back of his natural anymore, as he was pretty successful from there. And now we can see some roaches and some lings fighting just over there. Going to be taking out those lings that are scouting up into his base. We see that Jig is going to be taking his 3rd base right now, feeling pretty confident. He did a lot of damage early on. I mean, once again, you know, the 14 workers killed right there. He is definitely in a good shape.
Although Henry did kill many more units than his opponent Jig, it's still the economy damage, the money over time lost by not having those units mining. So as long as Hendralisk stays a little bit more passive here, Jig feels very comfortable getting his 3 bases. There's no acknowledgement from Henry. He is moving an Overlord along the north edge of the map to figure out, and meanwhile Jig is scouting the base of Henry, so he knows Infestor Pit is out. He knows now that there is a Queen shooting at his Overlord, shooting at the eyes, trying to prevent it from seeing, and everything is visible to Jig. He has all the scout he needs.
Yep, and looks like Jig wants to put on the aggressive offensive again. And you know, with that early 3rd base, and also just the damage he's done, you can see that Jig is going to be leading supply. Henry definitely sees these roaches morphing through and moving towards his base over here now. And Henry is going to be having to defend this. There's so many roaches in production for Jig right now. Now moving on to the creeper. Henry's getting that extra speed. The creeper is getting sniped because of this overseer, and here comes the assault. He is Henry prepared?
Henry has fortified deep within his base, using his roach den and his evo chamber as defense, as a wall. The lings do breach the wall. They do run behind. Most of them have been cleaned up. The Queen's shooting spines. The roach is shooting acid. The drone's being pulled off the line. Even more drone, even more economy damage. The roach den is now reeling. It's losing blood fast. It's hemorrhaging even, and it will go down. The broodlings come down. The drones are still mining, trying to keep as much of an economy going. And now, oh my goodness, Henry, he is in a difficult position. He has many roaches to defend, and more extractors be going down. That's not only a drone gone, but it's also an extractor. The roaches of Jig, you can see all of them attacking, and only a few of Henry's are attacking. And it looks like just these roaches enough should be able to push through. But Jig wants to sneak around the top, does take out one of the spine crawlers before it roots. Another one goes down. What can Henry do?
Oh man, it's just one of those infestors to pop out. The infestor's timing was just a little bit off. Jig capitalized on that timing, was able to push the roaches and do terrible damage to the front of Henry's wall. Took out the roach ward. There's no more roaches he can produce. All he can rely on these infestors and lings. And infestor and lings, I mean, they're okay, but you know, with the upgrades that the roaches have, and you know, Henry focused on those roach upgrades. These roaches, the lings and the infestors, aren't going to do a really good job against the roaches.
So now he's going to have to rely on those infestors. Some good fungals will maybe turn the tide of this battle. One roach loses its life for trying to come out here. This doppelganger will also lose its life for its insubordination, and these roaches are putting a soft contain. Jig has been on 3 bases for some time. Henry only on 2. Can Henry pull it out though? We've seen him in worse positions and still come out on top. Can he possibly make this work?
I mean, Jig's also transitioning into infestors of his own. He does have Pathfinder guys almost done, but this wall of Henry's not going to know. With these infestors, he might be able to do a little bit better. He really needs to get another roach ward on him, and you can see it has started though. Fungal's going down on these roaches. They're keeping him in position for the spawn crawler to poke at them, but that spawn crawler is almost down. A couple more shots of the acid, and down goes that spawn crawler. Oh my goodness, the roach numbers are thinning for Jig, but he just keeps on pushing, and Henry's almost out of energy.
Henry has dropped a couple more infestors, only 3 infested Terrans, only 3 in the back. These infestors are now dying to the roaches who have breached the defenses of Henry, but the roaches for some reason want the infestors more than their own life, and the infestors only to survive. A macro hatch going down for Henry out at the front of the base, perhaps to create a wall to prevent any more bleeding, any more enemy attack. Look at the mineral difference for our players. The gas is telling the story. These gas intensive units can be produced in excess for Jig, and Henry wanting to get his third, finally producing a third base. And that whole while having 3 bases, Jig was able to produce more units, more economy, and that is why Henry decided to get a macro and a third.
Look at that, 66 workers to the 42 of Henry. You know, this is spotted exactly by Jig's Overlord here. He knows exactly what's going on, and with that advantage he already has, with his upgrades, with his economy, with the damage that he's done, and how long he's delayed the tech of Henry, man, he can just push right now and try to take out his third base, and it looks like that's exactly what Jig's going to be doing. He does not want Henry to get that third base. He already has done terrible damage. He doesn't want him to recover.
The supply difference is very high in favor of Jig. Hendralisk will have to do some miracle play in order to defend this attack well enough. He is putting his units in position up towards his natural. He cares more about that than his building third base. He's hoping to get a nice flank on his opponent. A bunch of lings and some roaches and some spine crawlers deep within this cove might be perfect to get a nice little surround. The fungal is good to get a little bit of damage on those armored units. The one infestor goes down, the other infestor survives. The lings are doing a great job tanking some of the attacks of the slow attacking roaches. The infestors of Jig are here, and now the fungals are huge, and there's just too many roaches. Hendralisk, how is he going to hold this? Will he GG here? And yes, he does. Game number 1 goes to Jig.
And you guys can hear the crowd here. It is so loud and exciting. Jig does take game number 1 from Hendralisk. Amazing play here from Lan ETS. If you just look at that graph, you can just see Jig just pulling way up ahead after that, grabbing that third base, able to outproduce, doing damage to Hendralisk, and just, you know, in the end, just outsupplying Hendralisk.
Henry really tried all his best. I mean, there were times where he showed glimmers of getting back into it, but all those constant onslaught, and it all reverberated from that first attack, that timing that Jig had done when he had the banelings and he had so many lings, and Henry just wasn't ready for it. He just wanted a couple more seconds so that he could get his roaches out. He just didn't have that time. Jig attacked at the beautiful opportunity.
Yeah, so that makes the score 2-1 right now, because Henry did start with a 2-game league.
Yeah, Henry came from the winner's bracket, so because this is a best of 7, they opted to give him 2-0 start to the match, because he did beat Jig in the past. He's the one who put Jig into the loser's bracket. I believe he beat him 2-0 there. If he didn't, I apologize. But at any rate, he's the one who put him into the loser's bracket, which means Henry gets a slight advantage. He gets to 2 games. Henry only has to win 2. Jig has to win 4. Now only 3. So it was almost drawn even. Will this be a best of 3 format series, or will Henry win the next game and only have 1 more kill required?
Oh, it looks like I spoiled the game. Oh man, I'm sorry, guys.
What?
Wait.
No, it's not a spoiler. He said.
Oh, I can't read French. I thought he said I.
Pas qu'un spoiler. I think he said. Whatever. I don't speak French. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. This is the English stream, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The French stream
but thank
is
you for
open
joining
as well,
us,
though.
guys. Thank you for watching this Canadian content. Hendralisk and Jig, 2 top-level Zergs, Grandmasters, Killing Spree versus Monomaniacs. Who's going to win, guys? Show your support. Who are you rooting for? Are you a Monomaniac? Are you rooting for Hendralisk? Or are you looking for a Killing Spree coming out of Jigsaw? Let us know. Both these players are amazing, near and dear to everyone's heart who plays Zerg, and true true pillars of the Zerg community.
Exactly. So both casters now, we are in the lobby. We are ready to go. Now just waiting for the players to give their signal, and it's going to be game number 2 between Hendralisk and Killing Spree's Jig. Man, that was some intense play in the first game. Really nice pressure coming out from both players there. And Jig, you know, he's really showing who is the more aggressive player here. Hendralisk is going to have to rethink his strategy, saying, whoa, wait a second. This guy means business.
See, the early aggression, sometimes it can be risky, and you could tell that Jig seems to prefer it, at least in the last 2 matches we've seen from him, but not all players do this all the time, and it could be a faker. He could play this next game completely passive and yet ready to receive some sort of attack from Hendralisk, thinking he's going to go aggressive now, so it's all a bunch of mind games. Henry, though, undeterred, continues into the next game, and the map is Neo Planet S. In the bottom left-hand corner, we have the light blue Zerg, Monomaniacs Hendralisk.
Yeah, so remember when we talked about the wall-off in the last game? Apparently it was not a wall-off, as Hendralisk does realize the Zerglings were able to spin through.
One mistake.
And he is going to be going up against Montreal favorite Killing Spree's Jig.
So Jig does not want to lose one more game, knows that he does not want to have only 1 life left. He wants to continue on this trend where he has 2 lives. He wants to win 4 straight. He wants to win the $1,600 on the line. So please, please, please continue watching. Let us know who you support. It is a best-of-7 format. Hendralisk is ahead 2-1 in this series. Who will pull ahead? It is anyone's guess.
It is. Man, this map, it makes the Zerg creep just look so plasticky. It's like plastic saran wrap.
Yeah, it looks almost fake, right? But I guess it's because it's so cold, it's frosty or whatever. But
poor drones. Their little feet get cold.
Do they have feet?
Drones
you can't see them.
Do drones float?
They float. But how do drones supposed to have?
How do drones propel themselves off the ground?
Well, how do probes do?
Well, they have a propulsion system. That's obvious.
All of the workers float, if you haven't noticed.
Whoa.
Did I just blow your mind? No, but it makes sense that these guys would have little, like, crab legs underneath, right? Or
yeah,
little,
exactly.
Like, spider legs.
Well, you see how they wave? That's how they float. They actually flap their wings. Like birds.
But anyways,
birds.
So we do have the spawning pool coming out for Jig once again. We will see aggression. We do see the hatch first again for Hendralisk. So will we see a carbon copy of the last game? Hendralisk needs to scout this earlier than he did last time. He needs to know about this. If Jig is going for that same bust with the Banelings and the Lings, it could spell doom at a very early stage.
Now we can see the gas coming down for Hendralisk, getting that early gas, and we see.
I am predicting he's thinking of doing his Zergling metabolic boost thing. He is getting the spawning pool faster though, so this does bode well for Henry. This means he won't be out of it if a huge army is produced by Jig once the spawning pool does blurt out of that creep. But no, Jig is going a little bit slower. He is producing his extractor and a queen.
You can see, yeah, you're right. I mean, the extractor coming out for Hendralisk is pretty early. It's early because he exactly once this spawning pool finishes, he wants to have enough for the metabolic boost. We can see that Jig is just getting his extractor now, so it'll be some time before he can get that metabolic boost. So if Henry can capitalize on that advantage, he can do some sick damage in the base.
It's the timing he is looking forward to. His opponent is playing a little more straight up this match, is not going for any sort of army early on, is opting for that Expo 2 base play, but it is Henry who will have the econ advantage early on simply because he has the extra production capabilities afforded by that natural that will pop a little bit earlier than his opponent.
An early Evo coming out for Hendralisk here. He's definitely going to be going for some sort of early upgrade timing attack. Most likely could be +1 for his Zerglings. Or it could be something else.
It could be Spore Crawler defense.
Spore Crawler.
He could be anticipating Mutalisk.
Spore Crawler rush.
Deciding a Spore Crawler rush. Yeah. What he does is he puts them up in the front, and then his
shoot
opponent,
overlords.
His opponent, the Spore Crawlers actually shoot the larvae in the air as they fall from the hatch. I don't know if you knew that, but that's a real legit
So you see the timing
strategy.
that Henry's going to be going for is a very early Zerg missile attack. So most likely going to be dropping a Roach Warren very soon, and really just going to rush into Jig before he even gets any sort of Roach Warren up.
So this build is very much produced by the fact that he knows Jig is not producing any army. He has his overlords in positions to see the positioning of Jig's potential army, and he knows none is forthcoming. He decided to go to Roach. Roach will be around the same time as the Banley nest, but with the timings, what'll happen is Jig will produce a bunch of links near the end of the Banley nest in time so that when they reach the front door of Hendralisk, he will turn them into Banelings. So sometimes by the time you see the Banelings and you know they exist, it's too late.
It is. But really, this build order, this could be a very nice build order win for Hendralisk here. I mean, if the Roaches are attacking and then they have the Banelings defend, Banelings don't do too good against Roaches. I mean, they do extra damage against light units. I mean, the Roaches, if they're all clumped up, sure, the Banelings might be effective. But you know, with the control of these Grandmaster players,
it's not cost effective to throw that many Banelings. So Hendralisk will have to face a Spore Crawler at the front base of Jig. He does prefer to have that Spore Crawler at the natural. He loves putting it there. Sorry, Spine Crawler at the natural. He is blocking it with the Queen, so he's made a nice little concave at the base. A bunch of Roaches are in production. Still not much of an army coming out for Jig. These Roaches are going across. They have been seen, I believe. Yes, that Overlord was placed beautifully to see that. And if they haven't been seen before, they will be seen right now, presently being seen under that Overlord's vision. The Overlord is reporting back to base, saying, "Oh my! You guys better be careful." The Spine Crawlers are being placed in the front to defend. Jig knows he needs something to defend against this. It is he who is on the back foot now. It is he who has to defend against the aggression of Hendralisk. Will he be able to hold only Lings and Spine Crawlers? What will happen?
We can see that 16 Lings are in production. Have to pull all his drones, and that's exactly what he needs to do. He needs to buy time for these Spine Crawlers. Poke, poke, poke. Go to Spine Crawlers. Here comes the drones. They have surrounded the Roaches. The Roaches have nowhere to go. They are stuck. The Lings are going to be taking out the reinforcements Roaches here, and oh my goodness! Roaches are pretty good against the drones, though.
The spiky, slicing blades of the Roaches slicing through those drones as they were within striking distance, and look at the economy damage. This is absolutely devastating for Jig. This is a carbon copy of the last game in economy damage, but not in the unit composition. The Roaches opted by Henry. Now they're trying to slice through the Lings. Unfortunately, because the Roaches attack so slow, these Lings are able to make really quick work of them. So 8 workers killed, 27 units killed in all. Henry is ahead. He needs to use this advantage, needs to make sure that he transitions well out of this, does not throw away this army, continues forward with this advantage he's given himself.
Yeah, so Henry pulling ahead now with 10 more workers than what Jig has, and that was a pretty effective trade. You can see in the units lost, Henry is ahead, but not by too much. But by killing those drones, he's just going to pull further and further ahead. You see some Roaches going out, trying to take out the Lings, and Henry doing a great thing here, going to be going straight for that 3rd expansion right after doing that damage. He knows that Jig wants to recover from that attack, not going to be putting any pressure onto it. And it looks like, oh my goodness, Jig spots himself in.
And when you're ahead, just keep getting ahead. Too often players will throw away their armies because, oh, I'm behind, I got to make something happen. These players are not those fools. They are definitely of the top Grandmaster Zergs. They know what to do and when to do it. Jig is now trying to come back, recoup his losses. Henry is getting a 3rd base, is working hard to produce more of an economy, and only Lings can pass through this wall, not Roaches. And
see, that's the good thing about Zerg. See, if we were Protoss and we made a wall of photon cannons there, I'd just be like,
it's the worst feeling ever.
I do it all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to destroy your own gateways. Oh, so
here we go. The Roaches, the wall has been reestablished in such a way that there is a doorway for all his units to get past. This has delayed the 3rd base of Jig. I'm not sure if this was by design or by error. A small group of Roaches and Lings are moving around in front of Jig's base. Now they need to defend 3 bases. A small army for Hendralisk as well. Will the tech advantage be the difference here?
And there goes the infestation pit.
Look at the weapon damage. Look at the weapon
Well, of course, yeah, Henry, you know, he got that early Evo Chamber. He's definitely going to be ahead in weapon attack here. And we see the Roaches now moving out. Once again, another timing. He's going to be arriving basically when this missile attack finishes. And he also has Carapace going on for him. The thing that Jig has, though...
Oh, well, unfortunately, the Overlords are able to see the split of the Roaches, but I felt he was trying to split his Roaches such that the army would look smaller than it actually is. It looks like they're trying to catch these Roaches doing a secret special tactics towards the 3rd base of Henry. They have been found out? No, they actually go unadulterated, but Henry cares not, for he will push on the front base of Jig. He will find a Spine Crawler wall. Will he be able to break through?
It looks like Jig is ready to defend this. He has 4 Spine Crawlers. I don't think it would be smart for Henry to go straight into there trying to do damage over there at all, but it looks like in the base over here there was a bit of an attack. It looks like it is that Overlord that's going to be poked by that Queen. We see the Lings sitting outside the base. Only 2 Lings though, and the 3 Roaches in the bottom left hand corner. They're not going to be doing too much damage at all.
So these roaches do retreat, do not want to fight against that spine crawler wall plus the roaches. A Hydralisk Den coming out for Hendralisk, wants the artillery fire from behind, wants the extra DPS. Will have to be careful not to lose his roaches, as they are the armored defense, are the wall, are the shield of his Hydralisks.
That is for sure. The tech advantage, though, still sitting in the favor of Jig. He has the Infestors. The Infestors are such a pivotal unit in all of the Zerg matchups, really. You know, be able to do damage, be able to stop people from moving, and it looks like now Jig is going to be pushing out through the map. It looks like he's heading towards the third base of Hendralisk, going to try to make something happen, especially with those Infestors in tow.
So the fight is coming to Hendralisk. Jig knows he needs to do something in order to secure his third base. The Infestors are very slow. The roaches are being attacked. They're walking in a straight line, being clumped up. That is no good. It looks like Hendralisk has more roaches. He has an opportunity to do a lot of damage, but now the Infestors are there. The reinforcements have arrived, plus a few more roaches. What will happen? The Hydralisk a huge fungal on that clump. Hendralisk is now fighting with only a few of his units, and look at the chain fungals. Hendralisk now is being absolutely ravaged by the fungals. He has but 5, 10. No, now he has many more reinforcements in tow. He burrows underground. He comes up behind. He attacks from behind. Hendralisk is attacking with his Hydralisk in the front, tanking the damage that should not be. Infested Terrans are dropped. Hendralisk retreats. He can sack this base. It is not too much of a loss to him, simply because he's had it for such a long time. He's trying to bring his drones right back to the base. Look at the devastation. Drones. What can Henry do?
Huge play there going on by Jake, getting a money fungal on those units. You know, most of the roaches weren't even fighting, sitting there just taking damage like a boss, but really not really boss of Hendralisk to be losing this third base just like that. Such a fight totally in Jake's favor.
Indeed, so now Henry has to be careful of more fungals. The Hydralisks are in his battle. The concave is better for his opponent. He tries to move his roaches forward so that the concave is better. Hendralisk unfortunately isn't fighting in a more favorable position. He even burrows his Hydralisks. He might be able to pick off a few straggler roaches in behind. He does get one more for his troubles, but really has Jig drawn even with that battle. He will be able to kill yet another roach as well.
It looks like Hendralisk is moving forward now, depending on the swing of Hendralisk. And Hendralisk actually lost more. Oh, that's that fight, you know, that one fight. 2,000 more resources. And here comes the Infestors again. Then a ball. Nice split by Hendralisk, not taking too much fungal damage, but the Infestors are still here.
Concave. Unbelievable. Henry is in a terrible position right here. He's going to be fighting with Infested Terrans very soon as well. He's focusing on the roaches. He might be able to take them out, though. He is fighting with all of his heart. And now the roaches are retreating, but the defender advantage goes to Jig. Jig will have the reinforcements much quicker and much sooner. Infestor coming to fungal in the back of the army, and now Henry is going to be trying to take this third base. Can he take it down? Some of his army has been broken apart in order to defend, and the concave is better for Henry. Henry somehow has come out on top with this attack. He cannot fight at this wall, though. He needs to retreat. The fungal is beautiful. Unbelievable play by Jig. Is able to hold the army in place. This is not where Henry wants to fight, but decides to push forward, and is it the right decision?
Man, you know, Henry had such a sick flank up there attacking at the third base. Roaches came up from behind. One were able to take out the Infestors and the roaches from Jig's army, from the reinforcements that Jig was sending in. And now we see this third base over here. It is undefended. You know, Jig is holed up in his base. He needs these spine crawlers to defend. Nice.
A counter-attack coming out of the base. No, Jig decides, am I going to defend? Am I going to go? What am I doing? I don't know what I should be doing. He's lost his third base as well. Henry is having his third base attacked as well by a few lings, but really that is nothing to be too worried about. Now 3 roaches are coming to reinforce this. This might be something Henry does have to respond to, but will he be able to either cancel this in time or defend this well enough? So like Jig very smartly did leave his units down there.
Yeah, exactly. Looks like the army is going to retreat. A bunch of roaches coming down. Going to be able to take out these roaches. His hatchery might go. Actually, I don't know. Nice burrow. He
will need to get an overseer here very soon. Henry is focused. Some of his army is being moved up to the front of Jig's base. Jig is still stuck on 2 bases. He has a very large roach count, but I'm not sure if it'll be enough to defend once Henry decides to reconnoiter his army up in the front. And there goes the overseers.
Overseers now moving towards here. Going to be able to get those finally pesky roaches sitting in the bottom of the pit. And there they are. There's the overseer. Spotted those roaches, and roaches will go down. Seems like Jig is going to be granting a third base over down here in the middle right-hand position of the map.
And the nice thing you see here, because Henry got those Hendralisk, you can tell the site advantage goes to Henry, because he has better vision. His overlords are strewn about the map, and the overlords of Jig are in but a few last vestiges of this map, simply because they're in places where the Hydralisks have not been. So you can see the site advantage definitely in favor of Henry. A few more roaches burrowed here. Oh, one comes up. Has he been seen? No, I don't believe Henry even knew that they existed. He himself burrows, so he is aware that at some point I may be attacked.
Exactly. See the upgrade still coming from Hendralisk. Now starting on Zerg missile attacks level 3, Zerg Carapace level 3. These Hydras are armed to the teeth.
Maybe you could press Control F to change colors to red and blue. Some people in chat are saying it's hard to tell the differences. So maybe if you do the red blue, press Control F. Is it that? How do you change colors to red blue? Control N? No. Okay, we forget. Sorry, guys. We'll try to figure out before the next game. I know light blue versus blue is a little difficult.
It's not working.
It's not these things. It's a hotkey. So don't worry about it. In the meantime, we have a huge confrontation that is looming in the middle of the map. Henry is trying to get his units in a nice concave. There's a ton of units for Henry, only a few for Jig. It looks like the concave is superior for Henry. He's moving his units down to get more units streaming. And look at the reinforcements. Henry should have this. Jig cannot possibly defend against this. A bunch of roaches shooting acid, melting the faces of these roaches. Once the roaches go down, the Hydralisk will be easy to go down. And Jig realizes when he is beat.
And Hendralisk wins that game.
Unbelievable play. Henry comes back blow for blow. These players, top level play. This is Zerg versus Zerg at its finest. Players. Henry is but one win away from hoisting the championship, from winning $1,600 at this tournament. Jig still has life, though. He draws breath, and when he is alive, he will surely fight to the last breath.
I tried it.
He is definitely no one to take too lightly. Right now, we're just trying to figure out the colors. There is a hotkey. We just forget it off the top of our heads. John, do you happen to know what hotkey you have to change colors to red blue? Sorry, guys, we're a bunch of noobs. I don't even know what this game is. I read a book once, and I think it's called Starcraft.
I read the book called Casting Starcraft for Dummies.
What Starcraft books did you actually read? You've read the lore, right?
Yeah.
Do you know the names of the books you've read?
Devil's Due. That's a good one. That's about Jim Raynor. I think I only read that one. I read more Warcraft books than anything else.
You're all about the Warcraft lore.
Yeah,
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are possibly one game away from the end, or at most 3. Let us know in the chat, what do you think? Who do you want to win? Do you want Killing Spree to take it home, the hometown favorites? Do you want... it's not touchscreen, John. Do you want Killing Spree's Jig to take home the championship to his team, to his Canadian team? Do you want Henry to take the championship back to Toronto? Do you want him to take the money and lavish himself with whatever gamers lavish themselves with electronics and glory? Who do you want to win? Monomaniacs, Hendralisk, or Killing Spree's Jig? Let us know in the chat. Alt F doesn't seem to do anything. I'm sorry, guys. We did try it. It didn't do anything at all. But I'm not sure why that is. We'll try to find out, and if we figure it out, we'll do it. If the players prefer those colors, though, we can't ask them to not use them. There is a function for us to change it to original, like red-blue, though. So, ladies and gentlemen, on stream for you, we are the English casters. Since this might be our last game, let's do one last promotion. I am at Esports ESC Jovian. I am joined by at ESC Songers. Follow us on Twitter so that we can let you know when Esports Canada is doing things around Canada, promoting esports in every corner of this great nation. And perhaps the final stage
could be it, but we don't know. We don't know that. We don't know that.
Or is this but a prelude to greater things? The matchup is Zerg versus Zerg. The map is Ohana. Everyone knows this map, and does everyone know the player in the top left-hand corner, the blue Zerg, Killing Spree's Jigsaw?
And he's going to be playing against his opponent, the red Zerg now. Not too any more red, because these players are awesome and allowing us to change the color. It is going to be
Henry.
From Hendralisk, from Monomaniacs, from Toronto.
Hendralisk training hard for this tournament. Jig playing equally as tough. Both these players, never say die attitude, want to win this tournament, want to show that they are the best of the best, and indeed they have shown that they are at least the top 2, but who is the number 1? Who amongst these 2 giants will stand after these mighty battles, these fisticuffs, this blow after blow? It's anybody's guess. Hendralisk obviously has the slight advantage, only needing 1 more game to win, but that doesn't mean 3 more games can be won, can be fought and won by Jig. I want to see how this turns out.
The Jig is up.
Stop it. We've done that before.
The Jig
Stop it.
Is up.
Once upon.
Once upon a time, there was 2 casters who said
That's
really lame
pretty
puns.
Good. Once upon a time?
And we were
Never heard
terrible
that
at these
before.
puns.
Oh,
and no one liked us.
So thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are awesome. Tweet to your friends. Let them know this could be the last game. Is Toronto going to take it away from Montreal, or Montreal retain their money, their hard-earned cash? Let us know who you want to win. Are you a supporter of Zerg or Zerg? Are you a supporter of Toronto or Montreal? Are you a supporter of Jig or Hendralisk? It doesn't matter. Whatever way you want to slice it. Where do your priorities and where do your allegiances lie? Hendralisk and Jig getting a spawn pool. Hendralisk getting a spawn pool. These players almost copied each other. Build for build.
And this is the need for speed right now. Zoom.
Speed racer, go! These overlords charging across the map. Nexus, a hatch going down for both of our players. Both players deciding to go for a little bit of a macro game, a little bit of two-base play. I anticipate still the Ling Bane Ling, but last game Hendralisk went straight for roaches.
He was given
sufficient time to play that card, whereas Jig decided to do a little bit of his knife fight Ling Bane Ling. In the end.
Exactly, and you know, just going for those robust roaches, we're able to give him that advantage so he could take that third base and just, you know, it was really the upgrades that did. In that last fight, Hendralisk was 2 upgrades up on armor compared to the 0 upgrades of armor of Jig, and you know, that made all the difference. Those Hydras were just living, the roaches were living so longer and longer.
So in the chat, yes, there is a stream delay, 2-minute delay, just to prevent any sort of stream cheating. So if you guys are typing something to us, we only see it 2 minutes into the future. So I apologize that we're not as responsive as you might like, but we are reading chat as much as we can, as much as we are watching this frantic, frenetic pace afforded by these 2 top-level Zergs and 2 Zerglings coming out by Jig. These twins will come out and do a little bit of reconnaissance, do a little bit of checkup, and make sure that they can keep an eye on what is happening. And what, pray tell, is that?
That is a Baneling list and also an Evo chamber here, so the Lings will be able to get up the map.
Block.
Nice block by Hendralisk, not going to be able to show Jig anything. These Lings do not know at all about this Baneling. They actually don't know anything about this base.
And he doesn't even know if Hendralisk has a main base.
I know, exactly.
For all he knows, he canceled his main hatch.
Hendralisk basically destroyed his own hatch and then expanded here.
And then sent his broodlings across the map to attack with his drones. Could you imagine if they lasted that long? So Hendralisk,
that's what a bronze player would think.
You build a bunch of Evo chambers in your opponent's base and you kill them, and then all the broodlings go and attack.
Number 1 strat.
It's early broodlords. It's broodlords at the hatch level.
Number 1 strategy.
That's the new legit strat, guys. If somebody does that, please put it up on YouTube. I want to link that video. Now we do see that both of our players are getting up a little bit of a macro. Jig is getting his Baneling Nest. The Baneling Nest for Hendralisk is up, so it will be the knife fight that we are expecting. Jig is desperately trying to get some vision. He's like, what are you doing? Please let me know. I hope that he's preparing for everything, because Henry has every trick in the book.
Yeah, great job denying the scouting there by Hendralisk, but looks like, you know, the aggression is going to be coming out of Jig first. Already 10, and that was 10 or 6 Lings in production. And you can see them moving across the map here. Hendralisk, most likely, he will see this Overlord in great positioning, and he will see, oh, what is that? And then he won't be able to see that. Yeah, he does see only a few Lings, but that's not really what he needs to worry about. He needs to worry about this reinforcement of 14 that will turn into Banelings closer to the main base. And these Lings are going to come in, try to poke, try to soften up as much as they can. Hendralisk is producing a Spine Crawler. Will have some Queens to try to defend, but Hendralisk has no idea about the Banelings yet, I don't believe. But now he sees a bunch of Lings. I know he realizes this has to be Banelings. He himself will have Banelings as well. This will come down to some sick micro by both our players. This could determine the game right now. And here comes the wall off with the Queen. The Queen comes back to his drone wall, and here's a beautiful play by Hendralisk, but more Banelings come for Jig. The split is decent for him. No! How did they survive? It takes 2 Banelings and huge economic damage, and now the Lings are trying to chase down more of these drones. They want more drone blood. Hendralisk is reeling. He's just bleeding everywhere. He needs to defend as much as he can. Hendralisk gets more Banelings out. He will be able to stabilize, but has the damage been done? Look at the economy here. There's nothing left. 13 workers killed. That was a huge Baneling hit there. Took 2 Banelings to take out the drones, but still, a lot of damage was done to Hendralisk over there.
It is extremely difficult to micro this matchup, Baneling versus Ling, having to separate your units, and Lings and drones being such small units. It's so difficult to play, as Henry knows he needs to make something happen, is sending back a little bit of a counterforce. Jig should be prepared for this, is producing more Lings. If anything, Henry is just trying to scare him into producing army instead of economy, and now he's going to be attacking a building. I'm not sure if that's the right choice. The cancel is good. He's only delayed a Spine Crawler, hasn't done anything more than prevent 25 minerals from going back into the purse of Jig.
Exactly. Oh, man. I mean, Hendralisk, he got his stuff up first, but decided he was not going to be aggressive. And Jig, you know, just noticing that, putting on the pressure, transitioning now into the Roach Warren. Very smart play there. Always want those robust roaches for the mid game because Lings and Bangs can only go so far.
Jig knows that he can pour on the pressure now. He can transition and produce an army. He has the economy advantage. Every mineral he gains that his opponent can't will go straight into army. But Hendralisk is trying to make something happen with this small ragtag group of Lings up at the third base. Now they will attack, may cause a cancel on that third, which is exactly what he needs. But at the same time, he needs to defend his main base. That Spinecrawler is almost already dead. The Queen is going to come down. Will it transfuse? No, not enough energy. The Spinecrawler will go down, I'm certain. No, the Banling takes out so many Lings, and it's been absolutely mitigated. So beautiful play by Hendralisk to draw closer to even. The third base, was it even close to dead? It
Not
was
even.
harmed, but because of the regen, it wasn't able to be defeated.
I feel like Banelings are underappreciated units because you can't even check how many kills they get because they die.
That is true. Those poor guys, the unsung heroes of the Zerg army.
You're like, man, that Baneling was
inefficient.
MVP. How many? Oh, wait, he's dead.
Yeah,
You
they
never
probably
know.
get a bunch of. That's not
the
good.
lights.
Somebody walked into the auditorium and turned on the lights like a goof. But
That's what I did last night when I walked into the sleeping room. That was
yeah,
embarrassing.
that was awkward. That was
Yeah.
really awkward. But we didn't know. Why was that guy in? Anyways, so Henry is now trying to get his third base up as well. The roaches of Jig are marching across the map. Henry does have roaches in production, but his opponent has about an equal amount. Henry does find that he found 3 in the middle of the map without reinforcements. He had an opportunity to do a little bit of damage, but decides to retreat, waiting for his own reinforcements. Jig is putting on extreme pressure with these roaches. He has a bunch more coming in behind, and Henry now finds himself at a disadvantage of numbers. These roaches are being caught off guard. Jig has a good opportunity to take out a bunch of roaches for free. The Spinecrawler is going to be trying to take it out, and yes, he does. But now he's going to lose some roaches for his attack, but reinforcements will meet in the middle. Jig should turn around and attack once its reinforcements breach, but Henry, realizing the reinforcements are in tow, decides to pull back and wait for the defender's advantage.
Oh, Jig is just waiting for his speed upgrade is almost done, and once that's done, he can get such a concave on Henry. Here goes, there's a speed. He's going to be moving in now so fast, can split his roaches and get a perfect concave, which he needs to fight. Now going to be going up the ramp. Oh, no, taking a few shots from the roaches up there and going to be retreating until most of his other reinforcement units are going to be on their way. And here they come down into the... so much Overlord poop everywhere. They're getting dirty feet, these roaches, and the roaches are going to be chasing. Speed also done for Hendralisk now.
So the roaches are doing a little bit of dance. Henry had the number advantage for a little while. The concave is decent for Henry. He's got a little bit better of a spread, and roaches of Jig are now dying. He realizes that he has to pull back a little bit. Jig is getting his level 2 weapons. He already has his infestation pit ready, though. He hasn't produced any infestors, but he can get those units as quickly as he may need them. So Henry has to be careful. Doesn't want to get any bad fungals. Doesn't want to get any bad engagements.
And those bad fungals, man, they were really hurting Henry in that last game.
In
there,
the first
you know.
game, right? That's how we lost it to the fungals, right?
But he also got fungled pretty badly in the second, but you know was
I feel
able
ya.
to pull
I feel
forward. And so we can see the bases are getting saturated. The third bases are getting up and running for both our players here. We see this huge roach army for Jig, and man, the upgrades are keep on. They're just coming, and Jig is getting 11 more roaches. Burrow coming down for both players, although Jig is just ahead of all of these upgrades.
Jig is but a few seconds ahead of Henry because of the advantage he had earlier. He can afford to just get his army up before Hendralisk. Hendralisk is forced to basically wait on defense, wait for his opponent to make a mistake. But Hendralisk needs to be on his toes. He's been keeping up with his weapon upgrades, been doing a great job with that. He is now getting Burrow, and you can see the resources lost for our opponents. They're more or less even. Jig is even supply blocked right now, but his supply is soaring at the moment.
Oh, I just heard some burrowing. That's most likely the roaches burrowing up and down on this map
It could
right
have been
now.
the Spinecrawler. Oh, the little doppelganger going for... Actually, it was his own doppelganger. So anyways, these roaches are streaming down the map. They have been seen by the overlords. Henry isn't getting in position. He is on the ramp, ready to receive them. Will he be able to defend this large push? It looks like there's a lot of roaches coming down. Will he be able to defend this? I'm not sure. He's coming straight for the third. One queen probably will go down if it's not careful.
Not in
and
position.
A beautiful concave by Jig. Oh, no. Why has Henry stopped? He wants to block these roaches from coming up, but he doesn't have enough roaches to defend. Why is he fighting in this terrible concave? And the fungal, a beautiful fungal. Henry baited his opponent into a terrible position. He lost a lot of roaches himself for it, though, so he draws even. And look at the DPS of these roaches. They get the third, and they retreat with most of their lives. Only a few sacrificed for their brilliant play by Jig.
That was a huge snipe there, losing a couple of roaches. And, you know, Jig has the resources just to make more roaches. 16 more in production, was able to take out the third base, and Hendralisk is going to be hurting. Look at that income difference right now, and that's going to be dropping sharply for Hendralisk.
Yeah, he has to long-distance mine from this third, trying to get his third up again. It'll be a while before he gets that hatch up. Meanwhile, he is sending a lot of his army up across the middle of the map. Jig is also aware of this. He's got the Zelnaga Tower, so he's got to know. Looks like Henry's looking for a possible fourth base. There is a confrontation near the middle, a little bit of cat and mouse game. There was at least one shot fired. Not sure if this is going to accumulate in anything more. Oh, and Jig realizes that Hendralisk is looking at that fourth. Doesn't want any secret special tactics roaches going up to his own third.
For sure. We see more infestors coming out for Hendralisk. And interestingly enough, I don't see many infestors on the map for our for Jig at all. You know, it'd be nice for him to transition into that, but I feel like he's feeling pretty confident with his roach play right now, doing so much damage, sniping that infestor, but disinfestors could turn a time in the battle.
Right
here they come. Roach is coming in. Nice split by Jig, but really awesome concave, but Hendrix, will he do him again? Will he be able to bait Jig up to the fungal going down, not landing on too many roaches, and the concave is just so good for Jig right there. Retreating up the ramp. Will these roaches follow? But looks like they're not. Jig is going to get another snipe.
Is he going to take down this hatch? Is Hendralisk going to be able to respond in time? No, I don't believe he will. The volleys of acid are just too much. A terrible position for Hendralisk. These roaches are just too many and too spread out. They're trying to take out that hatch, and they do take it down indeed. And now Jig smells blood. He's pushing in for the victory. Is he going to take another victory off of Hendralisk? Hendralisk is not even microing his units. I think he fears the worst is yet to come, and it's on its way into his natural. But Hendralisk is standing strong, and finally, he GGs. You can hear the roar of the crowd. Game number 3, goes to Jig, which means it is 3-2.
3-2.
In favor of Henry. Jig has to win 2 games. Henry has to win 1. It is a tight series, back and forth. Player wins, other player wins. Player loses, other player loses. It's back and forth.
Intense. My ears hurt.
Take off your headset a little bit.
Man.
Wow, I saw a lot of support for both players in the chat. Maybe a little more impartial than the fans here. You can definitely tell. Fan favorite is Jig here. Everyone cheering, screaming his name, chanting for him. Homeboy. He is the hometown favorite. Wow. But what a game. What a game by these two players.
It's so back and forth. I mean, you know, with the same units, you can really tell. It's you know, when you're playing against another race, it's hard to tell, you know, how skilled the players are in terms of their unit control. But when you have playing the same race and you have the exact same units to choose, you can really see the player's style coming out.
Yeah, and it really magnifies the differences created by that early advantage by killing a few economy units, because you're producing the same stuff through the same buildings, and if you're getting 5 less minerals each second, then that's going to add up very easily over time, and that just means he's just going to have more of exactly what you have, and it comes down to those engagements. And Jig did a wonderful job making sure he got into those engagement channels, making sure he had the better concaves.
Jig's positioning is phenomenal.
Yes,
I have to say that. Like,
he definitely knows how to get into those corners and make sure his army is nice and spread. Everyone's attacking.
You can see his selection too. It's like bloop, bloop, bloop,
yep.
And he makes that huge cradle for you to come in. The cradle of death.
Yes, indeed. The cradle of death is what he welcomes you into his bosom of death, brings you close, and draws acid on your face. And that is what we saw. So Jig playing phenomenally. Hendralisk does not want to lose one more game. He definitely wants to just take this out. Will this be brought towards an ace match, though? Could you imagine? Jig wins this one. We will have an ace match. Game 7, overtime, if you will.
Overtime.
But we are in game number 4. Hendralisk leading this series 3-2. Jig needs to win 2.
Vestige.
Belshire. So on the Shire, it is our Hobbit. It is our Red Zerg. It is Monomaniacs. Hendralisk. This map I'm not familiar with, but I'm sure these players will be more than familiar
on this map.
And his opponent.
His opponent spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Belshire. Vestige is killing sprees. Jig needs to win one more. And then it's up to the ace match.
Yeah, so we'll see if he can do it within 2, if he needs 2, or if he goes down in but 1. Hendralisk does not want to lose this tournament. Jig does not either. Both these players playing for pride and glory and money. $1,600 are on the line. A huge prize pool, a huge payday for these players who put so much into this game, spend so much time practicing and designing builds and theory crafting, and really.
Jig's not making Overlord. Oh. Jig.
It's going to be some early aggression
Jig
coming
is
out
making that
Jig.
Early pull. He's going for the kill.
He wants to get to that ace match sooner than you think. Will this be successful? Will Henry actually be able to prepare for this? Will he go hatch first, or will he do some shenanigans of his own? He's obviously macroing up a little more than Jig. Jig is getting his gas as well, so you can see it will be Banling Ling timing at the front door of Hendralisk. Hendralisk will have to be extremely on point to defend against this.
This scares me. This is exactly what Hendralisk did to Jig.
Do you mean this is what Jig did to Hendralisk in the first game?
Was that it?
Yeah, Jig beat Hendralisk in the first game this way.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, yeah, that's right. Hendralisk went for the early expansion.
Indeed, but this time he's not. He is getting his spawning pool before that natural, so maybe learned a little bit of how Jig plays. 6 lings in production immediately. The army value of Jig is going to soar through the roof compared to his opponent, who won't be able to produce anything for another 30 seconds or so. And even then, if a Baneling Nest comes out anytime soon, this could spell some major damage. And Jig knows Henry, if he loses that econ advantage, he is a little easier to handle. He's a little more softer, a little more squishy. And there's the Baneling Nest. The natural does come down for Henry as well, so he is not preparing for this optimally. The 6 lings go across. Henry knows those are a little bit early. What am I going to do to deal with this?
Well, it looks like lings are instantly in production for Hendralisk. He also has a queen coming up, but right now he's kind of starved for larva. 1 larva there, waiting for the minerals. Should be turning that into some zerglings to defend as well. But, you know, this is not your smallest map, but it's also not the largest map, so the lings will be getting there in due time, and here they are going up the ramp, and they're going to be assaulting that natural of Hendralisk.
Henry's going to have a hard time with the Banelings. Nope, it's not the lings that he has to worry about too much, because he could be producing lings off of 2 larva-producing hatches. It is the Banelings that he has to be really worried about. He needs to micro these units extremely effectively. Now it is 6 versus 6, but the positioning for Jig is a little bit better. 1 Zergling is pulled to the side, and there are the Banelings. What will Henry do? A lot of drones are pulled to defend against this. This is a very tricky situation to be in. Once these drones do come out, it'll be spell disaster for all of these light units in the area. One does get canceled. Will the Queen be able to take out more units? And here come the Baneling straight for the line. He needs to pull out these. The drone split is decent. Oh, the control is beautiful. Oh! 4 drones lose their life to the acid of that Baneling. And what is the damage? 5 drones down. Difficult position to be in. Henry now, again, finds himself on the back foot, finds himself in a position he does not want to be in. What will he do? More Banelings being spawned. No, canceled.
Yeah, we see Henry has enough lings now to defend from this pressure, from the Baneling pressure here. And he's trying to drone up right now. I mean, he's not too far behind, only 2 drones behind. You can see him making 3 drones at a time. He knows he's safe now. He has a lot of lings out on the map.
Are these the Banelings here? Because I saw Banelings.
Oh, they're Banelings.
Yeah, there they are. So the Banelings are coming up. This might be trouble for Henry. He has to watch his army. Does not want to lose his... Oh! The entire army value of Henry go down to but 2 lings. Luckily, with his 2 hatches, he's able to produce... Oh! Jig GG'd?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yep.
What? So that means Henry wins?
And that was...
Hendralisk is your winner! Lan ETS 2013! Unbelievable! Go back to the camera, the caster camera.
What are you doing? What are you doing, Tony?
You can see Henry just walked across. Jig just couldn't do the damage he needed to do. Didn't feel he could draw back from that loss. Henry defended beautifully. Hendralisk, your 2013 champion, Lan ETS, the 11th Lan ETS. Henry gets a huge payday. He's going to treat us all to poutine and Montreal smoked meat, I am sure. Wonderful play coming out by both of our players. An unfortunate ending, a little bit anticlimactic if you ask me, but really good play.
Just didn't do enough damage, eh?
Oh. So,
yeah,
guys, wow.
Damage, yeah.
Wow. I was wishing it was a little longer.
I wish, yeah.
I wish it was a little different, but still, Henry takes it home. So a Torontonian takes a Montreal LAN. I'm sure some people are sour, but
stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened. What if you won? You could have said I'm representing mainland
China.
Yeah. Congratulations to Hendralisk. Here, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but I'm going to try. There are the players up at the front of the stage, getting their fanfare, getting their dues. Once again, a big round of applause for Hendralisk and Jig, the top 2 players at this tournament. Jig coming in from the losers bracket, having to fight all the way through, doing a great job representing Killing Spree beautifully, and starting this tournament in a disadvantage, being down 2-0, so coming back really in style.
Excellent. Excellent play.
So there you have it, guys. Show your support to these players. I know Henry has a Twitter. It's at Henry Zhang, I think. But look him up, Henry Zhang Monomaniac.
We should get him up here.
We should. You know, he'll come and talk to us, right?
No, he won't. We have to go get him.
Tony, do you want to ask Henry if he wants to talk to us? So we're going to try to get Henry
guys. We're
up
get
here.
Henry up here, and we're going to do a quick little interview with him.
He's a good guy. We should make sure he has a chair.
You can sit on mine.
Okay, so put your chair on the other side there. But yeah, guys, what did you think of that match? I know the last one was a little... Oh, look, everybody's starting to see Jig give up. They're like, what? In the chat, 2-minute delay. Yeah, sorry about that ending, guys. We didn't expect it either. When it was GG, I actually thought Henry GG, and I'm like, oh, ace match. Then I saw Jig, I was like, what?
Exactly, yeah.
So it might take a couple seconds to get Henry up here because he's obviously got to unplug his peripherals. All of his gear is up there. He doesn't want it to be stolen and sold on eBay. So, yeah, we should back up, though, so that we can see everybody. And I'll give him my mic. What did you guys think of the tournament in general? Some of you have been here since yesterday. Worst last game.
I have to say, very anticlimactic last game, but...
That's ZVZ, man. That is ZVZ. I've seen so many end like that, where you're like, you're playing your heart out, and you're good game after good game, and then you end on this sour note, and you're like, oh.
For sure.
At any rate, with these players definitely showed us some incredible play before that, though. I mean, the micro's just on point, the macro, the play, the mind games, the tricks, everything you can possibly imagine. And up until this point, we've been treated to so many good games.
Exactly.
I mean, some notable games I remember: Nubergini versus Destro, Destro versus Hendralisk. What else did we see? So many good games. Show matches from you guys. Who are some of our show match players? Cash202 versus VVV. No, not VVV. Was it Lag? Lag something. Not Meredith. I can't remember. I'm so sorry, guys. But yeah, so many amazing things, so many amazing games, and so much more tournament coming. This is probably either the end or some of the end of StarCraft 2. I'm not sure if we'll produce some more content for you guys before the entire tournament is over. But I know that there are other tournaments happening at this event. Do you want to maybe name some of the tournaments they have
we
here?
have CSGO, we have League of Legends, we have Dota 2.
Is it okay? Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much.